This is my guide on a Win KFM build. This build has two different variants based on which Mystic badge you would like to run, whether it be the pivot kick or the common strike badge. KFM as a class requires a lot of skill books to make it effective and more fluid. So this includes having a lot of slots on your accessories. Some of these skills are necessary, some of them are mainly quality of life. I will go over each and every skill on each accessory. My gear right now is a little over the top for our current patch, but you can achieve the same success as long as you have the right core skills slotted. I will be going over the essential and the quality of life skills that KFM needs. Obviously, you should slot in the essential skills over the quality of life to make the build work. Starting with this accessory, what we should be looking at is the Searing Palm critical damage increase. It doesn't have to be the blue book. Using the green book is just as fine because it also gives you a damage boost based on your Searing Palm stacks. Another essential skill is the Cyclone Kick damage increase variant, not the focus recovery variant, because this puts your Cyclone Kick at a 0-second cooldown as opposed to the focus recovery Cyclone Kick being a 6-second cooldown. You should also get the straight jab focus recovery to help you with focus cost. You do not need the blue skill Cyclone Kick if you cannot afford it, but just know that the blue skill Cyclone Kick reduces the focus cost on Cyclone Kick from 3 to 2. Fighting Spirit is I wouldn't say essential right now, but is very nice to have when providing your party with buffs. You do get a 30% crit rate and a 30% damage increase, although it's not working currently, the damage increase part of Fighting Spirit. I think it's bugged right now because I've tried it out and my damage does not increase at the moment. So you do not need this skill right now, but just know in the future it is an essential skill. You do need the smite on your F skill book. This allows you to use pivot kick as well as ready your Searing Palm. Going to my bracelet, you can run Everlasting Blow. This is your RMB. If you use your counter, which is your 1, and then RMB, it readies your Searing Palm so you can stack. Use that as a stack option. As for the Bright Comet Strike, I run this over the Charge Comet Strike because it is a faster instant cast as opposed to a charge cast. But later on, you can also swap to the charge cast because the blue skill gives you an automatic additional strike. And as for the leading palm, this is your heavy hitting skill that will do a lot of damage based on how many Searing Palm stacks that you have. If you have 4 right now with my gear currently, I am hitting a 35,000 crit, which is a lot of damage for our current patch. And for my gloves, the skills I have slotted are the pivot kick. Pivot kick is a really nice skill to have. Pivot kick lowers Searing Palm's cooldown whenever it is on cooldown, which will help you get back into rotation faster and back to stacking your Searing Palm stacks. As well as if you run the pivot kick badge, it'll ready your leading palm, which I said is the highest hitting skill that KFM has at the moment, with 4 Searing Palm stacks, and using the pivot kick to reset it. This will essentially double your damage on leading palm because it will be a back-to-back hit which is 235,000s for my damage, for example, which would be 70,000 damage total. Frenzied Fist is just another skill. This is your LMB. This is just a part of your 2RF rotation. So far I've showed you the essential skills for KFM for having a proper rotation. Some quality of life skills will be the flurry, resistance. This is just an extended iframe over 5 hits. Whenever you resist something, it readies searing palm so it can help you stack. Another one is having the volcanic burst on your tremor, which is your V. Tremor as a skill is kind of worthless right now, but having the volcanic burst skill just gives you a little bit more damage on the skill. But at the moment you cannot buy volcanic burst from the merchant. You have to get it as a green book drop, or just transmute a green book and then just hope you get it. Another one is your Z. My skill tree is broken right now, but there is a resist Z that heals you, and it acts as an iframe. KFM's main skill rotation is the 2RF. If you don't know what the 2RF is, it's just the button sequence of what your damage output would be. So it's just 2RF, which is your 2 LMB, and then F whenever it. KFM also has a stacking system within the class which gives you ramping damage, which would be your X, not the leading palm but the searing palm here. To proc searing palm, there's many ways to do it. You can either press X to ready it. That second part gives you the searing palm, and it gives it a debuff to acknowledge a timer that you have to make sure to keep your stacks up. The second way I procced that was using 1 and RMB. Another way is to 2RF. You get the smite prompt. The smite prompt allows you to ready searing palm. Another way is to pivot kick. Pivot kicks on your 4 is that prompt, that blue skill. It readies your X as well. And if you also have the flurry resistance and you resist something, it readies the searing palm here. This is an example rotation. So you can start off with X. X again just ready your first stack of searing palm. Go ahead and start 2RFing. Here I will smite to activate X again. Pivot kick after that. Go back to 2RFing. Here you can press X again to ready your third stack, or 1 RMB. Go back to 2RFing. And then to get your fourth stack, we will smite again, which is our F. Ready your fourth stack. This is where your damage is going to come in. And here I like to X and then V comet, which is your 4. And then just 2RF until the 4 stacks wear off. And then you see we're around when it ended, it was around 8 seconds. So our searing palm is essentially back up again to start stacking again. Now to show off the 2 different Mystic Badge rotations. Right now you're seeing the Pivot Kick Badge, Mystic Badge rotation. This is the badge I mainly run. It allows you to get a extra leading palm off. I like to use this in dungeons, since in this rotation you're not going to get a perfect rotation like this in dungeon because there's just too many mechanics or boss rotations. I like to use this because it doesn't rely too heavily on 2RF like the Comet Badge, and it allows you to get a lot bigger burst off by doubling up your X with the pivot kick, since the pivot kick resets your leading palm. And going into the Comet Badge, this is strictly dependent on how many 2RS you can get off, because your 2RF, or specifically just your F, Cyclone Kick, decreases the Comet Strike cooldown, which is your 4. Like I said, in dungeons, I don't like playing this one as much, but a lot of people I know use this because it just allows you to focus on your 2RFs only instead of managing when to use your leading palm, and just have your combat strike up for ready damage.